All right, good afternoon, everybody. So excited to follow up last week's exciting news with today's media availability. As we said earlier, Azura was a top target for us this year as we entered into free agency. We believe very strongly and confidently that she is a key piece to what we're building here, not only in what she brings as an individual player on and off the court, but how she complements some of the other pieces we have on our roster. At 26 years old, she's entering the prime of her career. So really excited that she decided to join the LA Sparks. She had many offers. She was very well sought after by many teams in the league, and we could not be more thrilled that she chose the Sparks as her new team and LA as her new home.
Alrighty, we'll now kick it off to Coach Miller. Coach, go ahead.
Welcome, everybody. Great to see everybody. I am in cold Minneapolis for the USA camp, but happy to jump on here. Glad that Azura has made it back to the States. Echoing what KB stated, as soon as I was hired in LA, we started talking about free agency, and that centered around Azura from day one. Azura is obviously a versatile 6'6" forward that plays multiple positions and impacts both ends of the court. She has played valuable minutes at the three, allowing you to play extremely long and versatile lineups. She can guard numerous positions at the defensive end. It's just someone we targeted that could be a real anchor, a real Batman with NECA for the future, and as we build something special out in LA. So can't be more pleased that Azura has joined us. As KB mentioned, someone that's entering the prime of her career, and I think poised and positioned to blossom into a star in our league. So can't be more pleased. We are so excited. And I will tell you, she also then fits the most important pillar that we stuck to through this whole process, was that we wanted to build it with great people. And I've shared this story over and over again. And Azura, Z's probably tired of me saying it, but Z is one of the few players around the league that makes effort each and every game, no matter how big the game, no matter how big the moment. She comes over and speaks to opposing coaches, and she does it with a genuineness. She does it with a smile, and her smile just wins you over. I'm telling you, Z is the type of character player you want in your locker room, especially in our situation where we're building something new and special. We tell her over and over, we can't tell her how much that impacted me through the years, that she came over and spoke to me each and every game, and her genuineness, the quality of character that she is just outstanding. And again, just a big piece of what we're trying to do.
Great. Thank you, Coach and KB. We're now going to open it up to questions for both Coach and KB before we hand it over to Azura. So if any of the media have questions for Coach or KB, I see some hands popping up. We'll get started with Rashawn Haylock. Rashawn, go ahead.
Hey, Azura, congratulations. Welcome to LA.
Thank you.
When you think about this new role in LA and with the Sparks and blossoming into a star, as Coach just mentioned, what does that look like for you?
It's just super exciting. A lot of great energy. I think in the 3 seasons I was in Chicago, I was a part of the team, a good part of the team, and I got great experience through that. But just the vision that KB and Kurt shared with me through free agency was really exciting. And the belief that I felt from both of them was super genuine on taking this next step in my career, which is something that I'm excited for, but also excited to have, a coach and a GM that share that vision and, believe in that vision along with me. So that was really important for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Azura, I know you did want to do an opening statement, so I'll let you do your opening statement real quick, and then we can jump back to questions. Azura, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say hi. Nice to meet all the LA writers, and nice to see some returning people. But first, I just wanted to start off and just say, a shout out to the fans and just the organization in Chicago. I really enjoyed my 3 years there and really grew as a player. And appreciate all the support that I had for the 3 years there. But I'm really, really looking forward to this new opportunity in LA, and I can't wait to get there with my team, with my coaches, and just be a part of the Sparks family. The free agency process was really exciting for me. And I'm really glad to be a part of the Sparks family. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you, Azure. We'll go next question to Tukni Nguyen. Tukni, go ahead.
Hi, Azura. Welcome to LA. As Kurt said, you're stateside now. You made it back? Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to, where are you now then?
I'm in Chicago currently. Just had to come here, tie up a few loose ends, and then I'll be with my family tomorrow.
Okay, so not quite in LA, but soon you will be.
Yeah.
When you talk about the vision that Kurt and KB kind of talked to you about for free agency, what was that vision? What did you have in your mind about what it would turn out to be in LA for you?
Yeah. I think just from an organizational standpoint, just building a great team, and like Kurt talked about, a great locker room full of good people and good energy and good momentum to carry us into the season. And then just the team that they're trying to build here, obviously NECA, Chene, re-signing of Lexi, Lou, just signing Steph, Jasmine Thomas, like a really, really great group. So I think just that vision and then the vision of having great people in the locker room as well was something that was really exciting and something I wanted to be a part of.
Thank you.
We'll go next question to John W. Davis. John, go ahead.
Welcome to LA when you get here. Kind of wanted your perspective on this. You're talking about, the team's vision and everything like that, but what do you personally feel like you need to do to take the next step to be the type of player that Coach Miller and KB believe you can be?
Yeah. I think for me, just consistency, having a bigger role. Like, I want to be a consistent player that this team can really count on me for night in and night out. And like Kurt kind of touched on, like, I think I impact the game in a lot of different ways. Defensively, offensively, I can play multiple positions. I'm a versatile player. I can guard multiple positions. So just bringing that and being consistent in all of those areas on a nightly basis. And then just even, being a leader, being more of a vocal leader in the locker room. But I think with that consistency, that's a way that you can lead also, is, being consistent and being, somebody that your team can count on night in and night out.
We'll go next question to Mark Schindler. Mark, go ahead.
Hey, Z, first of all, happy belated birthday. Hope you had a good one. Welcome to LA as well. Obviously before the season ended, we talked about how excited you were to play in Turkey. And I know you're back stateside now, but I was wondering, what you've taken away from getting to play with TR. You guys were absolutely killing it with Galatasaray. So, what do you take away from your experience there?
Yeah. I think with overseas, the couple of experiences I've had, I do play a lot more. I have played a lot more over there than in the W. So that gives me a taste on what it is to have a bigger role and to be counted on more night in and night out. And I've loved playing with T so much. It's been great. She's a great teammate. And we have a lot of fun out there. And it's just been great, being in that environment with Gala. But I think the biggest thing is just having that bigger role and kind of experiencing what that's like on a nightly basis over there.
We'll go next question to Howard Megdal. Howard, go ahead.
Thank you all for being here. Azure, congratulations. One for you and one for KB, if I could. Azure, you're just talking about what the bigger role would look like. And I just wonder, as you set a baseline for what that looks like in 2023, are there some stats you have in mind? Are there particular ways in which you think it looks like that bigger role succeeding in your view?
Yeah, I think a huge thing for myself is rebounding more. I think that's an area I really can grow in, is being more consistent rebounding. And even other things, I think I'm a pretty good passer too. So like, I think being able to, highlight that area of my game as well. And blocks, like I said, there's a lot of different ways that I can like impact. So I think just increasing in all of those areas, while being able to still carry on with like shooting well from the outside and being efficient down in the post. But I think some of the other areas in terms of assists and blocks and especially rebounds, just increasing those numbers.
Thank you, appreciate it. And KB, in terms of the pursuit of Azure, somebody who's turned 27, literally February 1st, I joined Mark and wished him happy birthday. How much does getting somebody in what, traditionally would be a player's prime, how important was that for you as you were trying to build what this plan would be this offseason?
Yeah, I think, it's starting to be a broken record to you all. You've listened to it for a few weeks now, but as Kurt and I and the staff really laid out the vision and the plan for this build and what we called sort of different pathways, a lot about age and the age of some of our returning players, coupled with obviously the acquisitions of Jasmine and Dearica. So as we went into the real critical stage of free agency leading into the first, that became more of a factor as the roster started to really take shape. And, we had Azure at the top of our prospect list for any number of reasons, but her age and coming into her prime of her career and being with us as part of this foundational piece of this build was just another factor that really just continued to prioritize our efforts to bring her to LA.
Thank you. Stay warm, Kurt.
We'll go next question to Jackie Powell. Jackie, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. I'll start with Azure and then I'll make my way to KB and Kurt. So Azure, congratulations. I think what I want to know from you is, I'm curious if you can take me through what the process was like to figure out what your needs were in this new phase of your WNBA career, and also how you think the Sparks will fulfill a lot of those needs.
Yeah, so obviously this was my first like free agency ride. So, in December, I sort of just started thinking in the back of my head, like, what are some things that I want to have for me going into this next season? And, it was a variety of different things that I was really looking for, but I think just an organization that supported its players really well on and off the court was a huge piece. Going into this next phase of my career, I really wanted a place that, felt genuine in that. And so that was a huge thing. And, other factors, what the team would look like, coaching, like some of the basic stuff. And so as I started to narrow down and meet with different teams, I sort of just took in what every team had to say. And, sort of listened at what they would have to offer and then just sort of aligned that with what I was looking for. And LA checked off all the boxes. I really just loved what Kurt and KB had to say about, this build in LA. And I just loved their like genuine want for me. I think all the other teams did too, but I just felt a lot of, genuine just energy from them on that front. And that was really special for me. And then, just looking at some of the players that they already had and the opportunity to play alongside of them, that was something that was really exciting too. And the fact that it's beautiful LA, like you can't beat that. So it was all just kind of a great package altogether.
Thank you. I really appreciate the thoroughness in that answer. And KB, for you, both you and Kurt have been very busy. And so I'm curious how this free agency period maybe has surprised you, being in this position where you're trying to build something new.
I think probably the one thing I didn't really anticipate was sort of the hurry up and wait that went along with this particular cycle. And I haven't been in a free agency cycle in several years, so it was hard for me to compare how different this was under new CBA and all of that. But in talking to a lot of the other GMs, this was a very different cycle with, some of the dominoes at the top, and all of us were sort of waiting to see how some of that was going to play out. And obviously we had our own domino in Azure, and we really applauded how thorough she was in her process. And I think us being the winning team on the other side of that process, it allowed us to give us some insight into just her as a person and how she approaches things. And, you know, we talked a lot when all was said and done, and she chose the Sparks as her new home, that just the effort and intention and thoughtfulness and just the way that she approached this whole free agency cycle was really impressive, candidly. And, you know, obviously we're glad we were the winners on the other side, but I think it says a lot about Azura and where she is in her career and how she is approaching this prime of her career that we're all talking about. And I think that's one place in our conversations where we felt like we really met and sort of saw each other, was this connection around the opportunity we have as a franchise right now and the transformation we're going through and the opportunity she has in her career. And then it just felt like it's right place, right time, right people.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And if I could ask Kurt, I mean, Kurt, you've been through free agency for a while now. And so we talk a lot about how the concept of free agency has changed over time in this league. But I think what I want to know from you is, how has it changed since 2020, that first year right after the new CBA? What sort of changes over that maybe 3 to 4 span have you really noticed?
Yeah, I think we could stay on the phone or on the Zoom forever to talk nuances, Jackie. But, you know, some of it this year was interesting, as KB mentioned, was there was kind of this hurry up and then waiting for dominoes that really impacted a lot of franchises on next decisions, and next decisions were put on hold. So there was a shorter period this year, first year, only a 10-day negotiating window. And it seemed like it was fast and furious out of the gate. And then all of a sudden everybody stayed. But that 10-day window was certainly different. We had to sign a lot of players this year. We didn't have a lot of players under contract. So different for us was trying to balance out a short 10-day window and the ability to travel out of the country. And as Azura's free agency went, multiple teams went over and met her there. And we were just honest with her that we were trying to put together an entire roster and work on our roster construction, and that it wasn't going to afford us to spend the days traveling. We really needed to spend every minute we could on the phone with other people to surround her with. And we were just really honest and candid and genuine with her, is that despite us not being in Turkey with her, that, you know, how much she was a piece of what we were trying to do, and such a centerpiece of that. And the versatility, you know, the versatility of Nneka, her, and De'Erica, all who've played 3 at times in their careers, all talented enough to guard 5s, modern day basketball. To think about the versatility that we had, and I can point to some success in Connecticut with a great post game and a great post depth and a rebounding team, put us in position each year to win it. And you can see, I think you can see the trends starting together. We've really started to put together a really talented group with size and versatility once again.
Thank you, Kurt. I really appreciate that.
All right, we'll go next question to Amanda Skurlock. Amanda, go ahead.
Welcome to LA, Azura. My question to you is, what were some key lessons that you learned during that championship run with the Chicago Sky? How do you feel like you'll be able to bring that to the Sparks?
Great question. I mean, it was my first time going to that all the way in the league, so there were so many things that I learned. But I think just one of the main things was the importance of being all on the same page and being together. That season obviously was super up and down for us, and right before the playoffs, like, we all got on the same page, and it really propelled us through the playoffs. And so that was one of the main things that I learned, was just the importance of togetherness. Like, it sounds cliche, but it's really important. Like, you have to be on the same page in order to work toward a common goal. And you know, it's just something that can't be underestimated. So yeah, that was one of the main lessons. But there were so many things I learned from that experience.
Alrighty, we have time for 2 more questions. So we'll go to Akeem next. Akeem, go ahead.
Absolutely, for sure. Absolutely, for sure. Congrats on the I hope you can hear me. Congrats on the, on the big move out there to LA, and can't wait for you to, to shine this season. One question that I typically have whenever I do these pressers is, you've played in Dallas, played in Chicago, but playing in a place like LA is an experience for sure. So what is it that you would say that, you're most looking forward to as far as, not only joining the Sparks, but also getting the LA experience?
Yeah, I think just it's one of the biggest markets in the league. So I'm really looking forward to just immersing myself into that and experiencing LA culture, like you said. LA is just, there's no place like it. So I'm super excited to just get out there and experience all that it has to offer. And I think from a marketing standpoint, it's a world of opportunity in LA. So that'll definitely be something that's excited for off the court opportunities. And that was another, pillar that Kurt and KB, we sort of talked about, just all the opportunities that LA has to offer and what the Sparks does to set that up for its players. And so that was something that I was really, really impressed by.
That's it.
Great. We'll go last question to Mark Schindler. Mark, go ahead.
Hey, Kurt, quick question for you. I know you're obviously a really avid film watcher. And like we talked about with Z playing in Turkey, I mean, like Ray's playing NBL, same thing with Steph, like so many players who are playing in different roles overseas. How do you take some of that in and try and, like, obviously you can see skill set and everything and how a player is playing, but when you're trying to morph in your head, when you're seeing like what, how these roles and skills can mesh together, how do you account for overseas play and what a different role looks like?
Yeah, Mark, certainly, as you mentioned, we watch tons of film and we follow our players, but not only our own players, your free agents, other players around the league internationally, and you watch them take on different roles. And that all leads into, believing, are they able to take another step? I'm still a little shell shocked that we had to talk about 21. So Azure's apologized multiple times about 21. So, but like you just saw something special these last couple of years with Azura in Chicago and the versatility. And then when she goes overseas, and I think she's just scratching the surface. She is so talented at both ends of the floor, and we can't wait to highlight her. We can't wait for her to have another role model like a NECA beside her. So international play is important for us as we're evaluating not only their skill development, but as you mentioned, most importantly, sometimes role differences than they have in the league, and how do they thrive in those areas, and what are they adding? You hope they always add to their a tool to the tool bag when they're overseas, and Azura just continues to get better and better.
Thank you, Coach. We'll now give it back to KB for some closing statements.
Yeah, I would just say, as we always end, thanks all of you for your continued interest and engagement with us. And it's obviously been a busy off season and free agency cycle for the Sparks, and we're not done yet. And you've had a chance here today to get to know Azura a little bit. And I know those of you who follow us closely and those of you who are in our backyard can't wait to see her on the court. She'll be a tremendous, and already is a tremendous, ambassador for the LA Sparks as we look to really transform the organization on and off the court. We're just thrilled that Azura Stevens is a part of what we're doing.
Thank you, KB. And finally, we'll go to Coach Miller for closing statements.
I think you feel our excitement, Azura. So excited, and so happy for you, but we'd be remiss not to talk about Azura just coming back from Turkey, that our thoughts and prayers are with all the citizens, all the WNBA players that play in the Turkish league. Our thoughts and prayers with everybody with what's going on in Turkey right now. But so excited that Azura is a part of the Sparks.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Azura, for joining us today. And thank you to all the media members for jumping on. We're so excited to have you as part of the Sparks family, Azura. And like we all said, can't wait to see you soon. For the media members on here, we will get the recording out to you shortly. And if you need anything else from us, please don't hesitate to reach out. Alrighty. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks all. Good job, Corey.
Thanks, Corey.